This is Net Rush Report. When the curtain first rose on this year's Laver Cup, the script seemed to be writing itself in Europe's favor. Tradition, pedigree, and star power sat squarely in their corner. Team Europe, captained by two icons of contrasting styles, Andre Agassi, the relentless baseliner, and Patrick Rafter, the fearless serve volleyer, entered with expectations to dominate. Their roster was stacked, their momentum seemingly unstoppable. But sport, as always, laughs in the face of expectation. By the time Saturday night ended, the scoreboard glared 9-3 in favor of Team World. What had seemed improbable only 24 hours earlier now looked inevitable, yet the road to that commanding lead was anything but smooth. Friday had been a nightmare for the red-clad warriors of Team World. One after another, their players fell short against European firepower. Their only glimmer of hope came from a teenager, João Fonseca, making his debut on this global stage. The young Brazilian dazzled under the lights, cutting through nerves with fearless shot-making and defeating Italy's Flavio Coballi. His victory gave Team World their lone point of the opening day. But that was it. Every other battle swung blue. And by Friday night, the whispers had already begun. Was Team World headed toward another year of disappointment? That doubt, however, lit a fire. Saturday arrived with renewed energy, a hunger that burned in the eyes of every player draped in red. And from the very first match of the day, that fire spread like a wildfire. Alex de Minaur, the Australian dynamo, was the first to step onto the court. Across the net stood Alexander Zverev, the world number 3 and a man built for the big stage. The odds tilted heavily toward Europe. Zverev's power, his experience, and his presence all screamed control. But de Minaur was in no mood to play the underdog. From the very first rally, his intensity was suffocating. He moved like lightning, chased every ball, and struck with surgical precision. Zverev looked rattled, as though every plan he had brought into the match was being shredded point by point. The opening set ended in a blur, 6-1 to de Minaur. The chase center erupted. Team World's bench leapt to their feet, their cheers echoing through the arena. Zverev tried to claw back in the second, but de Minaur never loosened his grip. With a 6-4 finish, he sealed the first victory of the day. What had begun as a question of survival had transformed into a declaration. Team World was here to fight. That momentum spilled directly into the second singles clash. Francisco Cerundolo, ranked number 21, faced Holger Rune, the young phenom from Denmark who had already carved a reputation as one of Europe's brightest rising stars. On paper, Rune was the heavy favorite. But paper doesn't win matches, hearts do. Cerundolo carried himself with a quiet confidence, and from the very start, his ground strokes tore through Rune's defenses. Each forehand crackled with venom. Each rally pushed Rune deeper into frustration. The match tilted red almost from the first ball. Rune, usually so fiery, struggled to ignite his game. Cerundolo, on the other hand, grew bolder with every passing point. By the time he clinched the victory, the arena buzzed with disbelief. 2 matches, 2 victories, and suddenly the narrative had flipped. Team World wasn't just surviving. They were surging, but it was the third singles match of the day that transformed Saturday into legend. Taylor Fritz, world number 5, walked onto the court to face the ultimate challenge, Carlos Alcaraz, the reigning world number 1. Alcaraz had been nearly untouchable, his explosive style drawing comparisons to Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic combined. Against Fritz, he held a perfect record. The script was supposed to be simple. Alcaraz would add another win to his tally, and Europe would steady their ship. Yet what unfolded was anything but simple. Fritz entered the match with a calm intensity, his eyes betraying a determination forged through years of frustration. Every serve, every forehand, every approach carried a weight that spoke louder than words. Tonight would be different. The rallies were brutal, a test of power, speed, and nerve. Alcaraz flashed his brilliance, drop shots that seemed impossible, forehands that bent physics. But Fritz absorbed it all and responded with steel. With each point he stole, belief swelled, not just in him, but in his teammates watching from the bench. Slowly, surely, the invincible aura of Alcaraz began to crack, and then came the moment. Fritz, locked in, fearless, struck the winning shot that sealed his very first victory over the world number one. The stadium exploded, a wall of sound that seemed to shake the roof. Fritz lifted his arms, his teammates stormed the court, and in that moment, Team World's transformation was complete. No longer underdogs, no longer shadows. They were giants. But the night was not finished. The doubles awaited, and with it, a chance to add an exclamation point to the day's dominance. Alex de Minaur returned to the court, this time alongside rising American star Alex Michelsen. Across the net stood Casper Ruud and Holger Rune, a formidable European pair. The task was steep, but Team World had momentum coursing through their veins. From the outset, de Minaur and Michelsen attacked with precision. Their chemistry, despite being untested, looked effortless. They broke Ruud's serve early, sending a message that they were in control. But the match's defining moment came in a flash of chaos. Rune unleashed a blistering shot at de Minaur, who instinctively raised his racket to block. In doing so, he struck himself on the ear. The crowd gasped. De Minaur staggered, needing a brief medical timeout. For a second, it seemed disaster might derail the red tide. But when play resumed, something extraordinary happened. De Minaur, still nursing the pain, played with even greater resolve. The very next point, he won with sheer grit, igniting the crowd into a frenzy. Michelsen fed off the energy, and together, they stormed through to victory, 6-3, 6-4. The bench erupted once more, captains Agassi and Rafter leading the cheers, their passion unmistakable, and just like that, Saturday closed with Team World holding a commanding 9-3 lead. What had begun as a day of uncertainty had ended as a night of triumph. Yet even with that dominance, the war was not yet won. The rules of the Laver Cup are unforgiving. Each match on Sunday carries triple weight. Team World may stand just 2 victories away from glory, but Team Europe still holds the chance for a miracle comeback. 4 wins for Europe, and the script flips again. That is the beauty of this competition. No lead is safe, no destiny secure. Every point, every swing, every moment matters. As the players left the court and the lights dimmed on Saturday night, the story of the 2025 Laver Cup remained unfinished. For Team World, Saturday was a rebirth, a declaration of power, and perhaps the most important step toward lifting the trophy. For Team Europe, it was a wake-up call, a reminder that pride alone cannot secure victory. And for the fans, it was everything sport should be. Unpredictable, emotional, and unforgettable day as Sunday looms. One truth stands tall. History is waiting to be written. Will Team World finish what they started and storm to the crown, or will Team Europe rise from the ashes to pull off the greatest comeback the Laver Cup has ever seen? The stage is set. The tension is unbearable. The story, still alive. This is Net Rush Report.